Yates and Parker Bell. We are here with another episode of Blue Review. Hola, mi amigo. How you doing today after that insane game that went down last night?
I'm doing well. I feel like last night was the best baseball game we've seen this season in the major leagues, on balance, just in terms of the back and forth, just in terms of the skill displayed. Dodgers didn't get the win, but I think we also were left with some larger questions, Parker, about, man, what is it going to take to beat these Braves? Like, I know that Lance Lynn gives up the most home runs in the big leagues. I understand that the Braves hit the most homers in the big leagues, so they put themselves in a position that was difficult. But if Mookie's going to hit 2 and Bush is going to get another, and you still can't win a baseball game, you just sort of felt like, man, this is fun to watch. But there feels like there is a hurdle that's going to be very difficult to overcome for these Dodgers in order to be able to beat a team like the Braves.
Yeah, the roster runs deep over there in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to Kike, it's tough because over on the other end, you have guys like Michael Harris who could be hitting 8 or 9, and he was one of the best rookies in the league not too long ago. So it's tough.
It
This
was
team
the
is
rookie
deep.
of the year last year, to be
I
specific.
know.
Yeah.
Any tips with that, but I'm just saying. Yeah. I mean, what a game. Obviously, we know Lance Lynn. We're going to have Julio on the bump tonight against Fried, I believe it is. So we'll see how that goes down. I'll be there with the team.
Okay.
But I don't know. Let's get into just some of the details of this game, Clinton.
Mhm.
Before we do, though, I want to say Blue Review, as always, is presented by Los Angeles International Airport. Higher LAX creates life-changing opportunities for Los Angeles residents. And for more information, check that out on Higher LAX at Eventbrite. So, Clinton, let's get into it. Ronald Acuna, as Michael Harris's brother was saying on social media. I don't know if you saw that video. That was awesome of Harris's brother reacting. Just speak on this guy's greatness this season.
What a week he's had, by the way, as well. Let's not forget this week started with him in Colorado getting accosted by fans on the field in one of the more awkward but did not end poorly situations we've seen in the big leagues in a while. And then as a result of a green card situation, he had to rush to get married yesterday, which, like, oh, by the way, like, what a thing to just sort of throw in there. And then he comes in and hits a grand slam to get to 30-60. Now, look, some people are going to quibble with the 30-60 number because obviously base stealing has changed in the last year alone, never mind the last couple years in the big leagues. But I don't think it's as much about the stolen bases or as much about even the number 30-60. People harken back to the days of 40-40 and Jose Canseco and how much that meant to the game. And yeah, it meant a fair amount to the game, but what it ultimately added up to was that this guy was fun to watch. Jose Canseco was a fun player to watch. Ronald Acuna, fun player to watch, adds to his team. Again, he's got the most runs scored in the bigs as well. I tell people all the time, if you want to look at the best player on a team, see who scored the most runs. This isn't just empty stats. This isn't just some situation where he's a specialist who happens to be good at 2 things. This is just a part of his game that contributes to the Braves offense that scores the most runs in the bigs, never mind hits the most home runs. I mean, this is not quite the I'm going to tell my grandkids I saw Ronnie Acuna play level, but we're getting close to it in terms of what he does and the excitement he brings to the ballpark.
We are. I mean, I definitely had people tuning in to this game who are not even baseball fans saying,
Right.
"Oh, this is like what I've been missing this whole time." And I go, "Don't worry, this might be an outlier, but yes, this is the level of play he's been doing all year." And I mean, it's hard not to get amped about the guy, but on the other end, like we mentioned, Mookie mashed again the hottest August possibly of all time. I mean, it's up there with top 5 hottest Augusts. What has Marcus Lindbet's been doing that you're just? I mean, we talked about it just the other day, but
he's seeing the ball so well. It's not just like he's muscling balls out, or it's not just as if it's hard to explain, but you can tell when Mookie at the plate is comfortable versus when he's not. And he's got a home run swing in the sense that he's got the power to get it out, but he's not some, he doesn't swing out of his shoes every time. You know what I mean? It's relatively easy power, relatively natural pop. And when he's locked in like he is now, you can almost expect the ball to go out on any given AB just because that's just how dialed in he is, And so for Mookie to be at this stage doing what he's doing, I really do think it's going to be hard. We talked about this, a couple days ago. It's going to be hard for voters to pick an MVP. There's the best player in the league versus the most valuable player in the league, and for Mookie to be on this kind of a tear, it's going to be hard for me not to vote for him as an MVP just in general, because if you don't have him, the Dodgers are a way worse team. If you don't have Acuna, the Braves are not necessarily that much worse. And you saw it last night. I'm fascinated to see how the rest of this series is going to go and how that's going to go for voters who are looking to find some sort of separation between these two, because even if in the head-to-head, Mookie outshines Acuna, but the Braves end up winning more games, how do you balance that? It's a very difficult situation right now, but if you're a fan of baseball, it's just plain fun to watch. I mean, again, worth the price of admission, both of these guys, and they're on the same field. I'm glad you're going to the park tonight.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Where does this, what you bring up in the MVP race, where does this stand in terms of comparisons with the Judge Ohtani season, where Ohtani was doing what he does and possibly the most valuable player just in terms of, baseball play, but obviously Judge had the record going for him. Is it a similar notion to that where it's like, okay, Acuna's doing something we don't see, but
Right.
look at what this guy does day in, day out.
I think that is comparable. I think that is a good comparison. I mean, don't get me wrong. Ronnie Acuna could easily win this thing because, like I said, I mean, what he contributes whilst the Braves would still be good without it is still a ton. I mean, and there's a world in which you can separate those two. I just don't happen to be one of those people. These things are good for baseball. This is the kind of stuff that baseball used to live on, not just wacky highlights and people hitting home runs, but it was races to the finish in terms of stats, in terms of trophies, etc. It's kind of an old school feel, a little bit of a throwback in terms of like an actual debate about who's going to win an award. I mean, I don't even care about awards that much, to be honest, but this is very interesting just because you want to see how these two guys go neck and neck and try to compete. So, like I said, the Braves, and we saw this last night, their pitching is better. Their lineup is better. They are a better baseball team. Whether or not that means they can win 4 out of 7 from the Dodgers in October, that's a different discussion. But if last night was any indication, the Dodgers have a lot more to figure out than the Braves do. And, I mean, Spencer Strider, that guy, by the way, whole other discussion.
Never skips leg day.
Guys given from God, you know what I'm saying, number one. Nice guy, too, by the way. I had a chance to talk to him a little bit at the All-Star game in Seattle this year. And, it's just one of those things where you look at the lineup, you think, okay, we can deal with this. But then you look at the starters and you're like, man, I don't know. And Fried's going tonight. Listen, I have a little confidence in Julio, but I don't have more confidence in him than I would have as a Braves fan in Fried. So
yeah,
there'll be another dogfight, I think, tonight. And, the Braves hit the Dodgers with their own medicine. They scored, 6 runs in the second inning? Those early runs will kill you if you're not a team that – yeah, they jumped on them early. So that's what the Dodgers have to do, not what they have done to them in order to win a game. So I'm hoping it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough coming back. Like, they tried, but that's always the harder part of the game. I mean, yeah, mark your calendars, everybody. I think the NLCS starts the 16th of October. Right. And if we got a preview of what that might be, we're in for another classic showdown. Dodgers, Braves. I mean, the Dodgers have the edge the last 10 years. I had the numbers not too long ago, but
okay.
Let me take a look real quick because I had it down, and this is pretty cool to hear. Oh yeah, 37-10 are the Dodgers on the Braves the last 10 years. And now that the Braves are one of the hottest teams in baseball, let's see if the Dodgers can pull off the upset, being that they will be the underdog. So CY, I mean, what do you got going on this weekend? I know we have a long Labor Day weekend.
Real test. Last thing real quick. I just want to say it's a real test. Like, whether or not you can withstand this sort of from a morale standpoint, I do think matters. If they end up getting swept in this series, that's not good. Not just from a number standpoint, but that makes you feel like, can we beat this team when it's all on the table? I don't know. This weekend, especially after last night's loss, is bigger for morale than I thought it might have been going in.
Exactly. All right, so that has been the Blue Review. Clinton Yates alongside Parker Bell for you guys. We will catch you next time.